Hello everyone, this video is on compassion for all beings. And the personality can sometimes perceive itself as higher than other beings, or better than, or more spiritually advanced. And from a unity perspective, that doesn't compute it. It won't sit very well, because whenever we judge another species, put ourselves above that other species, it creates a sense of separation and splitting. And that splitting can cause fear, misunderstanding, confusion, anxiety, the misrepresentation of spiritual texts. And it might give the ego a little boost to believe that it is better than or above or more spiritually advanced than another being, which is fine, but it isn't accurate from a unity perspective. From a unity perspective, all beings deserve respect. All beings have divinity. All beings are conscious. And some beings, such as snakes, can be misrepresented in texts or in the media, and there can be fear mongering. And that's a really sad thing, because when we fear something, we lose compassion for the thing we fear, and it's never worth it. Compassion and respect bring us closer to other beings, open the heart space, bring warmth into every cell in our body, expansion into every cell of our body, whereas fear and misunderstanding and judgment contracts us. And so if we are afraid of something, that's okay. We can notice the fear in our body. We can move to where that fear feels in the body. We can just allow it to pass. We don't necessarily have to believe any of the thoughts that come into our mind. We can notice them. We might even want to write them down. And if we want to feel connected, we want to integrate stillness into our lives, have lasting happiness, we can't leave any being out of the heart space. There's no being that gets thrown out of the heart space. It's not, oh, I like dogs, but I don't like cats. Or I like lizards, but I don't like snakes. The minute that we throw something out of our heart space, there's a contraction, and it will steal some happiness. It will steal some connection, and it's not worth the loss. We never want to lose compassion. No amount of fear or judgment is worth it. It's not worth the loss. And so I'd like to bring your attention to a word which isn't really used a lot, but maybe we can bring it into our awareness. And that word is speciesism. Speciesism. Now, we might have heard of racism, sexism, but we might not have heard of speciesism. Speciesism arises when somebody says, "Ew, I don't like snakes, they're disgusting. Oh, how horrible." Now, if we just imagine that a person of color was in front of you and you said, "Ooh, I don't like brown people," or "I don't like black people, they're disgusting, ooh," that would be seen as racism. And so there isn't a difference between scrunching up your face and calling another species disgusting. That's disrespectful to that species. The species is divine. It has a right to exist. It has a right to respect. Black people have a right to exist and deserving of respect. Women have a right to exist and are deserving of respect. All beings have a right to exist and are deserving of respect. So the next time you're making just a flippant comment, "Ooh, I don't like cats," or "Ooh, I don't like snakes," or "I don't like spiders, they're disgusting." Notice that that's a form of speciesism. There can be a preference. Well, I prefer, but even then you can't say, well, I prefer white people over black people. So I would just like to bring that into the awareness that when a disrespectful thought arises, don't necessarily air it without contemplating, is this even true? And if you feel like you do feel snakes are disgusting, ask why. Why do I think they're disgusting? Oh, well, they look disgusting, and there's a misconception that they're slimy or whatever when they're not. But if we just exchange the disgust for curiosity, exchanging disgust or fear for curiosity, if we replace everything with curiosity, getting to know snakes, getting to maybe watch an animal documentary on them, maybe spending time with them, then we'll see, wow, I actually think they're really cool, or I'm still a little bit afraid, but I respect them. And so in this new age, we're aware of speciesism. In this new age, we're moving towards love and respect for all beings. And the reward for having love and respect for all beings is the heart space opens and we can communicate with those other beings. And these other beings have lessons to teach us. Once upon a time, it used to be weird to meditate. Once upon a time, it used to be weird to do yoga. Now it's scientifically researched and it's known that mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation have great benefits. There's been multiple scientific research studies, repeated, peer-reviewed. So it's kind of accepted that it's beneficial to do yoga and meditation. The next wave is going to be interspecies communication. The vibe on the planet has risen, and the new wave is going to be interspecies communication. So any blocks, any speciesism, any fear, any misunderstanding, any judgment is going to be on its way out so that the heart space can open and so we can open up a dialogue, a nonverbal dialogue with other species. And when this happens, we have the capacity to save the planet because humans tend to overrate themselves and arrogantly believe that they have the answers to all the questions and get caught up in their head and their intellect and lose their instincts and their intuition and their unity consciousness. So reconnecting in nature, reconnecting with animals, opening the heart space, plants and animals, being around them, we're going to start to return back to our natural state of calm and recognize interspecies communication. We would have probably been able to communicate with other species in the past. Maybe the Egyptians could communicate with cats. Maybe in ancient India there was a communication with snakes and nagas. And so throughout history, in all cultures, there has been waves of interspecies communication. The abilities maybe have been forgotten. However, now the vibe's high. We're going to start being able to communicate on subtle levels and understand how the universe works through communicating with non-humans. And that's really, really exciting. And this communication can arise on a subtle feeling level, hearing, visual imagery, cognitions. It depends on you and your nervous system. Meditating can help this greatly. And animal communicators in today's day and age are very, very useful to have around. Why cannot humanity take advice from elephants, from dolphins, from snakes about how to be at peace in the world? There are lessons. Human teachers can get overrated. I think it's time for animal teachers to rise up. Animal teachers to rise up. Snakes are always around the necks or above the gods, goddesses, because it's a sign of respect that these beings deserve respect. They are great in consciousness, expanded in consciousness. Looking into their eyes upgrades human consciousness. Animals have the ability to upgrade human consciousness. We always think that upgrades in human consciousness come from other humans, but if you look at Buddha, he sat under a tree. If you listen to some of Sadhguru's videos, he sat in a park or on a mountain, like it was a hill. There were cobras around him. My first experience of unities, flashes of unity, was with a snake. But it isn't openly discussed. Everybody goes running off to try and find a human teacher. Yeah, humans are okay, but a lot of the time they're overrated. And so I'm really excited to see in the future people connecting and becoming curious with animals. And Florence is called Florence after Florence Nightingale, the healer, because she has healing energy and healing abilities. And it's amazing when she's with some of my clients, she returns them back to calm. They're not afraid of her. And if you watch other videos with her, you will probably connect to her and sense on a subtle level how sweet she is. And so challenge yourself to see if you can cognize or see the sweetness in Florence. How loving and kind and sweet she is, and sensitive. How forgiving she is, even if we make a mistake and we hold her in the wrong way. She's very forgiving. She's very, open, playful, curious. She's curious about you. Ooh, look at this human tree. What does it smell like? So I really hope and pray that we can all foster a deeper connection with all beings. May we all have the ability to connect with plants and animals at a deeper level, open our heart space, receive upgrades in consciousness, and have our lives blessed and touched by these miraculous, wonderful creatures.